Hey, Lalon Top 10s here. Sometimes things spend ages covered in dust and spiderwebs, completely forgotten. And most of the time, this is not a problem at all. Other times, it is a huge problem. From treasures to pure nightmares, people discover everything in their attics. So that's why we support the list of the 10 incredible attic finds that will really surprise you. So anyway, for this list, we've gathered up some scientific research onto or just like real research, not fake research on social media or something like that. So just remember, what I say is 100% true. Alright. Number 10, glass negatives. Alright. The reason I say glass negatives, guys, because you think about it, when you dare search for some in the attic, you sooner or later stumble over a giant box filled with an old slide projector and countless slides. Some photographs a little bit more valuable than your old holiday photos have been discovered in Perio in Illinois, hidden inside a box in an abandoned house's attic. The box contained over 200 glass negatives, dating back to the late 1800s and early 1900s. The negatives were actually found just in time before the house was demolished. They sold in a salvage shop to photo restoration expert Chris, Chris Trugat Coulter of the Peria Historical Society. Coulter had to create something special holders for the negatives, being in 11 different sizes, and starting to restore and digitize them. He shares the photos online and asks people's help to identify who or what exactly is on them. The photos offer a truly unique glimpse into the past, showing soldiers training in the late 1890s, cowboys, a jumping dog, people looking very uncomfortable into the camera, and much, much more. It's like endless if you think about it. Number 9, a grandson's body. Really. This may probably shock you, alright? As well, so. Anyway, just like basements, attics can be pretty creepy sometimes. Imagine finding a dead mouse in there. Now, think about finding a dead body in your attic. Not just any dead body. How boring would that be? But rather the body of someone you have known and loved. Oh god, this is creepy. This nightmare story actually happened to a dude named Zamboya Richmond, who was 65 from Earl, Pennsylvania. When the old lady heard a bang upstairs in her attic, she went to investigate and found the badly decomposed body of her own grandson, Quinn Rogers. He was 21 years old when he suddenly disappeared back in 2014. All searches have been without conclusion, and the family simply hoped he had left Earl. What exactly happened to Quinn is still a mystery, but his final Facebook post made one day before his disappearance suggests his, let's see here. Unfortunately, guys, my computer is, messed up. So, suggests his unhappiness about saying, I have been having the worst luck lately. That explains everything, I guess. So, anyway, we would like to go on to number 8 with this topic called a bombshell. You heard that right, a bombshell. But really, you may be asking, why would you find a bombshell? So, literally, 4 fully functioning grenades were found in the attic of a house in Oak Creek, Milwaukee, in Wisconsin. Those could have probably blown up the house, I guess. So can you imagine someone who thought it was a good idea to place 4 bombs directly above people's heads? Or who forgot who had stored his bombs? That's illegal. Probably not, but in the house, that's illegal. After the initial shock, the house owners called the police. The 4 grenades were detonated under supervision. Surprisingly, surviving bombs seem to be found quite often in attics. In 2016, a builder discovered a World War II firebomb hidden inside a house's attic. Some timbers did already show some burned edges, but for some lucky reason, the bomb did not detonate. Number 7. Actually, this is the number 7, guys. My mistake. Number 7, a monarch's head. So, you may be baffled here. But, Stephen Gabbett, a TV production company journalist, searched around the attic of Jacques Bellinger, found a skull. It turned out to be a 400-year-old preserved head, and not just some everyman's peasant head. After scientists had examined it, they identified as the head of Henry IV, who ruled France up to 1610. How the monarch's head ended up wrapped up in the attic that is not completely clear. What is known is that royal revolutions ransacked Henry's grave 183 years after his death, and chopped the monarch's head off. In the 1900s, a French couple then bought the head at an auction, and they finally sold it to Bellinger in 1955 for 5,000 francs, which is a gone currency, believe it or not. Number 6. Unsigned Van Gogh. This is a very famous one. But think about it. What have Picasso, Warhol, Caravaggio, and Van Gogh have in common? Yes, they were all great artists, but they also painted paintings that got lost in time. And, well, when they were rediscovered, their finders immensely rich. The sunset at Mount Madron was discovered by a Norwegian man in his attic in 2013. But he didn't care much for the painting because he thought to be a fake. In 1991, the owner had already asked experts in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam for their expertise, and they had decided that the painting was a fake due to the missing signature. However, several years later, and with advanced technology, the painting was examined again. After chemical analysis, X-ray research, and, well, examination of Van Gogh's letters to his brother, they finally concluded that the painting was a real Van Gogh. They were able to find the exact date when it was finished, Independence Day 1888. Just for comparison, Van Gogh's painted portrait of Dr. Gachet was sold for about $82.5 million. Just think about it. That is very, very expensive, if you just think about it. Alright, we go on to the number 5 with Hitler's record collection. Seems very interesting. But Lou Besmetsky was a captain in the Russian militia when World War II ended in 1945. He went to the captured Nazi headquarters, the Reich Chancellery in Berlin, and what he found was very fascinating. Numbered boxes filled with Hitler's personal belongings stood all over the place, and the Russians took some of them with them as souvenirs. Years later, in 1991, Lou's daughter, Alexandria, went to the attic to search for a badminton racket. What she found was not the racket, but a box labeled Vierhafquarta. It contained Hitler's personal recording collection, including Wagner, Beethoven's piano sonatas, and surprisingly, some works by these people that I mentioned. Tchaikovsky, Peter Tchaikovsky, Alexander Borodin, and Sergei Rachmaninoff. While those are artists who had been labeled subhuman by the Nazis, Hitler had been a great lover of music, surprisingly. So, he visited the opera nearly daily when he lived in Vienna, in Austria. Number 4, $5 million Faubourg. Alright, if you don't know what Faubourg is, I'll explain it right to you. So, alright, number 4. So, let's actually get onto this list, unless my computer will actually stop. Well, it better work here. So, hidden over 70 years in an attic in New York was a small but very, very rare Faubourg figurine. It was sold for about $5.2 million at an auction, partially because of its fascinating history. The figure had originally been commissioned by Tsar Nicholas II for his wife Empress Alexandria in 1912. We all know how the Russian monarchy ended. And with it disappeared the figurine. In 1934, it was found again and sold to George Davis. But for whatever reason, it disappeared again. It was only found about 70 years later, more or less by accident. There are only 50 of these figurines in existence, but you could have found mistaken it for a holiday decoration. We should probably look a lot more carefully at the things we decorate our Christmas trees with, because they may be a rich piece of history. Number 3. Superman comic. Everybody knows Action Comics number 1, where we see Superman, or at least, I should say, evil Superman. Wait a minute. What was I thinking? Superman lifted a car so that way... Oh well. All I know is that Superman was lifting a car. There was a man on the left-hand corner of the original comic cover page where he looks like terrified. So that story, that sounds straight out of a fairy tale or out of a comic. A Superman comic. When a couple's house had to be ready to be taken over by a bank, the owners had to clean out the attic. They found over 50 boxes filled with comics, and most of them had little to no value. One comic was the exception. They discovered a very rare copy of Action Comics number 1 from 1938 in very, very good condition. Only 99 of those books had already been known to exist to this point. Originally just bought for 10 cents, the couple gave the holy grail of comic books to an auction, where it sold for a breathtaking £1.5 million. They were now able to not just keep the house, but buy a new villa on top. Number 2, diamonds. Everybody loves diamonds. Trust me, I'm even a fan of diamonds. Just trust me. Alright? Now, so diamonds are not only a girl's best friend, they're everyone's friend. And they're even better when you get them for free inside a chair. Angela Milner Brown, who is 50 years old, and her husband Angus, who is 47, live in Biggar, which is located in South Lanarkshire in England. Around 2006, they bought an old chair at an auction for £5. The couple recalls that the chair had been in very bad condition, and because they lacked the money for a restoration, the chair ended up in the attic. The chair slept in the attic for 6 years. That's right, 6 years. But one day, Angus Milner Brown decided that it was time to finally upholster the old thing. He had to rip off the old cushion material, and after 4 layers, he suddenly saw a sparkle. Inside the chair, diamond jewelry had been hidden. Angus, a romantic guy, kept the fine secret and surprised his wife over several occasions with the jewelry as a gift, before he finally revealed where it came from. The couple decided to present their find to the BBC Antique Roadshow, where it has been valued at around £5,000. That is awesome. Number 1, bags of money. Yeah. That's what I want. So, a man named Josh Furn, a man from Bonneville in Utah, had just bought his very first house. Of course, he had to check every room, but what he saw while searching a place for his tools in the garage, he could have never foreseen. While searching, he discovered a slightly odd-looking panel on the ceiling, with a little piece of carpet sticking out. Being a dad and thinking that there might be a little nice place to play for his children behind the panel, he investigated further. He found an antique-looking ammunition case and 7 more boxes. When he opened them, they were all stuffed with rolled-up cash. Cash. Just for his whole family. Alright. The family started counting, but gave up after $45,000. However, being probably the nicest guy in history, Josh did not want to keep the money and handed everything of it back to the family of the deceased owner. He said he wanted to set a good example for his kids. I think I should have just owned all that money, guys. Anyway, so that is it. If you have any other strange things, just let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and support me on Patreon. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.